fight overall body aging. The secret is HGH. Human growth hormones. The medical community has long known about the anti-aging benefits of restoring your HGH levels back more to what they were in your 20s. It's been scientifically proven that plummeting HGH levels are one of the key causes of problems commonly associated with aging. Jumpstart your HGH production every day, and expect the benefits associated with HGH, including diminished wrinkles, crow's feet, laugh lines, and age spots. Skin that looks and feels firmer and smoother. Increased physical stamina. Increased lean muscle. Strengthened nails. A faster metabolism. Weight loss with decreased body fat. Greater memory and focus. Reinvigorated sex drive and performance. Better mood and mental sharpness. Improved hair condition and color. Better sleep. Clearer, healthier vision. A strengthened immune system. Increased results from exercise. How does it work? The product contains a proprietary combination of amino acids, nutrients, and peptides that are all scientifically shown to kickstart your pituitary gland. So they encourage your body to safely and naturally boost your HGH to more youthful levels. Helps fight. The advantages are a more youthful appearance, increased muscle tone, fat loss, increased metabolism, a supercharged sex drive, greater energy, a strengthened immune system, increases the secretion of HGH by the anterior pituitary, enhances the effects of other hormones produced by the anterior pituitary, improves mental focus and cognitive function by enhancing the synthesis of phosphatidylcholine, increases strength training results during workouts, improves fat removal from the liver, works synergistically with vitamins B12, B6, SAME, and folic acid. Overall body aging. HGH truly helps fight overall body aging.